Hello, hello, and welcome to another episode of Decorating Distractions with Susan from Color Envy Design. As part of my Stay Safe, Stay Home, Love Home concept, I'll be sharing tips that you can use so you're inspired to love your home a whole lot more while you're staying home a whole lot more. Have you ever thought you picked the perfect paint color only to find once it was on the walls it was too light or too dark? Well, you're in luck because today's topic is understanding light reflective value, also known as LRV. You'll learn how you can use it today to quickly find out how light or dark a paint color you might be considering for your next project really is. And for those of you who are interested, there's a free gift at the end of this tutorial. So welcome to my foyer where the light bounces around as much as the sound does. And whenever I welcome anyone into my home for the first time, knowing I specialize in paint color selection, they always say, so I have to ask, what color is this? So I ask them, what color do you see? They look around and depending on the time of day, they'll use words like greenish gray, grayish blue, or bluish green with gray undertones to describe it. And then they always follow up with, but what color is it really? As if telling them the name of the paint color or the colorants the paint store used would confirm their opinion, which by the way, it does not. All those subjective words they used answer the question, what color do you see? Which is hugely influenced by lighting and personal perception. Because when you change the light, you change the perceived color. So without using ish or undertone words, how do we answer the question, what color is it really? How do we explain and communicate the factual color? I specify colors for my clients using data values, so I can show them immediately why a color is not showing up on their walls the way they thought it would, and I know immediately what colors to suggest, so the color they want is the color they see, without guessing. Color data is the only consistent way to understand and choose color because it doesn't change. And here's why. Most color the human eye can see lives in three-dimensional theoretical color space like this. Each color has a DNA which is made up of values, which I capture and understand using electronics and software. The values are like coordinates on a map that tell us where the color always lives. The paint color on these walls may live somewhere around here on this fun little three-dimensional model. Now, like any location on a real map, depending on the weather, time of day, and who you ask, the destination may look different, but it doesn't change the factual location or its coordinates. It's the same thing with color. No matter how we perceive it, no matter the weather, light, or who we ask, the values and location of a color in this three-dimensional color space are always the same, which, by the way, has nothing to do with how color is laid out here. That's a huge misconception. So how do any of these values help you understand how light or color could look in your space? One of the values you can use right now that doesn't require any special tools other than the internet is the light reflectance value. If you Google any Benjamin Moore paint color's name followed by the letters LRV, you will see a numeric value between 1 and 100, and this is what it means. Light reflective value is a measurement showing the percentage of light a color reflects. The 0 on this side represents darkness. 0% of light is reflected back from any color with a 0 LRV, all your very dark colors. And the 100 on this side represents lightness. 100% of light would be reflected back from any color with a 100% LRV, all your very light colors. And of course, all the other percentages of lightness fall in between. Now, don't let the grayscale in this graphic lead you to think it's only black, white, and gray that we're talking about. Every color has a measurable light reflective value. So no matter what unique lighting situations you're dealing with, and no matter what colors you like, this is really useful information to understand when you're picking a color. Take a look around your space right now. All lighting situations are unique. This space could have been hugely challenging if I didn't understand LRV. This foyer is bright and sunny with white molding, which leads to the open concept back of the house, which gets less light and has pecan molding. Two totally different lighting situations connected by this wall. So the challenge was to pick a color light enough for the back of the house, but not so light that it got washed out in full sun up here. You can actually see how different the lighting is from the front of the house where it's lighter as we move toward the back of the house where there's less light and we have darker molding similar to what's in this mirror. So this is a perfect wall to show you how important it is to understand LRV. So let's look at two different color samples with different light reflective values and see how they look. This is White Dove with an LRV of 85. Somewhat high on the LRV scale, which makes it nice and light for the back of the house and the darker molding. But when we bring it up here, it's too close to the molding color, and with an LRV of 85, it got totally washed out in full sun up here. So 85 is way too light. So let's go darker. let's look at brushed aluminum, which has an LRV of 56, which is a nice mid-range LRV right in the middle of the LRV scale. It looks great with the molding, and with 56 LRV, it is dark enough to hold up to full sun up here, but when I moved the sample to the back of the house with less light and the darker molding, it was just a little too dark for back here. So 56 is a tad too dark for an LRV for the back of the house. So based on the data, I immediately knew I should look at colors with an LRV somewhere between 60 and 70 to work in both spaces, without trying to figure it out by eye and shuffle through a million paint chips. This color, by the way, is Vapor Trails with an LRV of 62. It's dark enough that it doesn't get washed out in full sun up here, but not so dark that it looked dull in the back of the house, and it looks great with the dark molding. You can actually see the difference between the brushed aluminum 56 LRV and the Vapor Trail 62 LRV is just enough of the bump up in LRV that we needed for it to work in both spaces. That's why understanding these values can be a lifesaver when you're trying to select between colors that look visually similar. So some of you might be thinking, well, why don't you just pick a different color for the back of the house? Which is a very logical question that many of my clients in similar situations might have asked. However, as you can see, this color already looks so different in the back of the house because of the lighting. Introducing yet another color in an open concept space connected by a hallway like this can make for a very awkward color transition, which is another reason hiring a paint color professional to plan all the colors for your home at the same time, even if you don't paint all the rooms at the same time, beats piecemeal paint color selection every time. And if you've ever painted yourself into a paint color corner, you know how frustrating that can be. The biggest takeaway to remember from today's video is in order to quickly adjust for the perceived color, it's super helpful to understand the factual color. And because I use color data when I work with my clients, it eliminates all the stressing and guessing for them. And we can make quicker color adjustments using the data as a jumping off point, because I don't just color by numbers alone. Now, I did mention a free gift earlier. I have compiled a list of the LRVs of over 100 of the most popular Benjamin Moore colors clients always ask me about. Many are colors I've used in their homes as well as my own. You can download this free cheat sheet to bring with you on your next trip to the paint store by visiting my website at colorenvydesign.com and clicking the LRV cheat sheet tab. I hope you've enjoyed this video as much as I've enjoyed making it, and I thank you so much for taking the time to watch. Sending you all the best wishes for your next project from my home to yours. Until next time, be well, my friends.